how to replace the hose on your Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro or Grandfall Pressure Washer Plus Plus. Both these models are the only two models from the Grandfall Pressure Washer line that has replaceable hose. It's the gray hose. If you have the black hose, I'm sorry, that one is not replaceable. So only the Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro, which has the orange right here, and the Grandfall Pressure Washer Plus Plus, which is black, but it has a gray hose. So we're replacing the hose on this one because this one actually has developed a leak on it. So too much bend on this one and it was leaking. So the hose is quite flexible, but if you bend it too hard, then yes, they do leak. So we have to replace this hose, and that's what we're gonna do right now. The tools you'll need is a Phillips screwdriver, and you're gonna need two wrenches. A 14 millimeter and a 17 millimeter. So these two are what you need, a 14 and a 17. And you will need this pin that comes with the Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro or the Grandfall Pressure Washer Plus Plus. It's part of the package that it comes with. And this pin is very important because later on, we are going to unwound this and we're gonna have to lock it, because when you unwind it, the spring is gonna be very strong. You're gonna have to push this into this little hole right here and lock it. Because if you don't do that, if you somehow tug the roller just a little bit, it's gonna roll back in, and then you're gonna have to spend a lot of time to wind it up again to have the tension that it has when you pull out the hose. So just keep in mind, this is very important. If you don't have this, don't attempt this. Get something of similar size so that you can put this here and hold the drum while you're replacing the hose. That's extremely important. So let's start by replacing the hose. So to replace this hose, we obviously need to pull out this hose. So simply pull it out, and that's all you're gonna do. I recommend kind of neatly winding this up. Oh, by the way, I already have an extra stopper that I already attached to the new hose that we're gonna install. But some new hose will not have the stopper, so you simply just have to remove the one that comes with your original pressure washer and replace it over. This thing is just designed so that it will stop the hose from just kind of wrapping on itself, right? So let me go ahead and pull this out. One tip that I'm gonna try to do is I'm going to try to reel this so it's nicely in a little loop here. We'll see if we can make it work. If not, then we're just gonna roll it out. But yeah, okay, so I guess we are gonna kind of get into a loop. Nope, I'm just gonna pull it out. All right, so we're just gonna go old school and pull it out. And I do love these pressure washer. These are great. The Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro is my favorite because it's so powerful, but the Grandfall Pressure Washer Plus Plus is the best value because it pretty much does almost everything the Pro does with just slightly less power and a slightly louder motor and just a little bit shorter lifespan, but they're both really good. Anyway, so you want to pull until where it says stop right here. See, you don't want to pull past that, and you want to give it a tug so the roller will lock in place like that. Once it locks in place, it's good. Now we're going to grab that pin and we're going to find a place right here. So if it doesn't line up with one of the holes, you will need to move it so it lines up with one of the holes. In our case, it does, so we're going to slide it in there and it's going to hold there for us. So that will allow us to operate on this. In this case, we are going to need to pull this down just a little bit more actually. So right now the hose is attached, so I can do this, but if there's no hose attached, you will have to use the drum like this. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this, and let's get this right over here to about here. And I'm not going to lock it. Instead of locking it, I'm just going to use this to hold it. That way I can get this right here. And nope, see, that's too far. I want to be able to use a screwdriver. There we go. So that's a good spot right there. So now I can use a screwdriver to open this. So this will release the cable, and just any screwdriver will work, Phillips screwdriver. I have an electrical one, but any one is fine. Here you go, there's one. And the other side here. There we go. So this part comes out. We'll remember to put this back. And it's very important we don't unwind the roller because it has the right amount of tension, and we don't slide this anywhere because this is in the right spot. So when we replace the hose, I want it to be exactly the same place because it's aligned properly so that it will spool correctly this way and then this way. It works perfectly, so I don't want to mess that up. All right, so that's removed. Now I'm going to pull this a little bit more so I can have access to the connection part. So I'm going to release the tension here and pull out this, and very carefully I'm going to control this. Very important, remember? Very important. So it's very tension right now. So you're going to make sure you roll it up to this part where you can see the connection point. And then again with this dial right here, you're going to put this back here and let this hold it right there. So that's going to hold it right there while we work. Maybe just roll it down. Yeah, right there, it's good. Yeah, so put it right there and let it hold it. This is extremely, extremely important, okay? So now that that's holding it, we should be able to work with this. And you see how this thing comes out really easily? Now is where we use those two wrench. The 17 millimeter holds the bigger nut right there, and then you're going to use the 14 millimeter to undo the top one. And it's going to be just basic, normal. Just undo this one right here. We're going to go this way to undo it. Yep, righty tighty, lefty loosey. There we go. So once you loosen it, you should be able to just take it out. And if you notice right here, there's going to be an O-ring in here, and that's pretty much what it is, right? This is the fitting, and we're going to place the new hose in just like that. So everything is exactly the same. We are going to slide this out and just match it with the new hose. So I'm going to grab the new hose right here, and you'll see the new hose is exactly the same, right? So we're going to slide it out and slide this one in, and it'll have the same stopping limit and everything. So slide this out carefully right here, just like that, and it comes out like this. Now the new hose comes in just like that. So you remember, it goes in and it goes over one loop. So there we go, bring it up, bring it over one loop right here. And then it's going to connect to the piece down here that we just, right here. Bring this up, okay? And then just connect these two. It's as simple as that. So now connect this back in here, and we're going to use the two wrenches to tighten it back up. So push this in. Remember, make sure the O-ring is still back in place. This goes in. There we go. And then once it's in all the way, you're going to use this nut to tighten it, like so. All right, so we're going to go ahead and hold this, rather right there, and we're going to turn this to tighten it. All right, here we go. We got the 14 and the 17, tighten, there we go. Doesn't need to be super tight, but I do want it to be snug because this is hard to access and I don't want to have to access it again later. There we go. Nice and snug. Perfect. All right, so that's pretty much the hardest part of the installation. So now just make sure you guide this back here. It kind of falls straight inside here, and there's a little area for it to hang out. And then we're gonna go back to the part where we attach the plastic piece here that anchors the hose on. So you see how there's a flat piece right here? That's where this assembly goes. So it's probably ideal to keep this nut right along this big area. That's probably what it's for. I'm gonna tuck it way back here. And then, so now we're gonna be careful again. Remember, this is under tension. So we're gonna release this, and I'm still holding onto the wheel. Very, very important. All right, so now we are going to go to the part where we see it will attach to the nylon piece, okay? So now the hose is reeling in, right? So we want to let the hose reel in, and we want to tighten it right here. Yes. All right, now we put the pin back in. So find the place to put the pin back in. Right there. And finally, we can see where we need to attach this to it. Just like that. So everything lines up very nicely. Perfect, actually. And now we can tighten this right over here. So I got this here, And just like that, we'll just tighten this down. There we go. And then hand tighten this, make sure we don't cross thread it. Once I can get it to bite in, then we can use the power tool. There we go. Sweet. All right. And then now we can power tool it. And power tool this side. Well, there's a lot of threads here. Yep. And snug it up. There we go. Snug it up just a little bit. There we go. So now that's going to hold the hose from kind of putting stress on the connection point. So that's going to be the part that just holds the hose right there. So maybe there's too much slack here. I don't know. I think it'll be good. We'll see. All right, so now we can remove this dial and we'll see how everything works. So now we can use the hose to hold on to the reel because now it's properly attached. So I'm going to hold this now, and now this should roll in and everything should line up properly. So everything looks good. Let's see if it properly lines up. Let's see if we can reel this in completely without me touching it. Here we go. This would be the ultimate test. Pretty smooth, pretty smooth. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I can't be too OCD on it. Let's see if it can go in all the way and not get stuck at the end. All right, I would call that a success. Now our hose is replaced from the busted hose to the new hose right here. Oh yeah.